going to be the last lesson for our tutorial, but I will be thriving with many other videos and more about Python sooner and later. So let's get started. And we will start with a question, and we will also start with try and accept for Python. Python try and accept. So I told you guys to tell me what Python try accept was. The try block, and what it is the try block lets you test a block of code from errors. The accept block lets you handle the error. The else block lets you execute the code when there's no error. The finally block lets you execute the code regardless of the result of the try and accept blocks. Exception handling. When an error occurs, or exception as we call it in Python, Python will normally stop and generate an error message. These exceptions can be handled by using the try statement. Since the try block raises an error, the accept block will be executed. Without the try block, the program will crash and raise an error. Many exceptions. You can define as many exception blocks as you want. If you want to execute a special block of code for a special kind of error, you may use as many you want. So here in this example, it says print one message if the try block raises an error, a name error, and another for other error. Here it gives us an error, but not really much of an error. The try block will generate a name error because X is not defined. Try, print X, accept, name error. Print variable is not defined, except print something else went wrong. If we define the X as in a 5, instead of printing variable X is not defined, it will print only 5. So if we add a definition to the variable X, and it's going to print a 5 like it does now. Now let's move on to the else. The else keyword defines a block of code that is executed if no errors were raised. So we have learned about the else keyword in our if-else Python chapter. The finally block is specified will be executed regardless if the try block raises an error or not. This can be useful to close objects and clean up resources. The program can continue without leaving the file object open. Raise an exception. As a Python developer, you can choose to throw an exception if a condition occurs. To throw or raise an exception, use the raise keyword. The raise keyword is used to raise an exception. You can define what kind of error to raise and the text to print to the user. Now we move on to user input. Python allows for user input. That means that we are able to ask the user for an input. The method is built a bit different in Python versions 3.6 than 2.7. 3.6 uses the input method. 2.7 uses the raw input method. The following example for the username, and when you enter the username, it gets printed on the screen. Python stops executing when it comes to an input function and continues when the user has given us some input. So Python string formatting. To make sure a string will display as expected, we use a format. We can format the result with the format method. String format. The format method allows you to format selected parts of the string. Sometimes there are parts of a text that you cannot control. Maybe they come from database or user input. To control such values, add placeholders, which are curly brackets, in the text and run the values through the format method. You can add parameters inside curly brackets to specify to convert the value. Multiple values. If you want to use more values, just add more values to the format method. Add more placeholders as well. Index number. You can use index number, a number inside curly brackets, to be sure that the values are placed in the correct placeholder. Also, if you want to refer to the same value more than once, use the index number. Named indexes. You can also use named indexes by entering the name inside the curly brackets, car name, but you must use when you pass the parameter values text. Format car name equals to Ford. Here is the code. The example is my order equal to I have a car name. It is a model. So we put the curly brackets for car name and model. So we're going to print my order dot format car name equal to Ford, model equal to Mustang. So it's going to print I have a Ford, it is a Mustang. And so that's all for today, and I hope you guys enjoyed my lessons. So that's it for today, and we are wrapping up our Python tutorial. All 35 videos are finished, and the videos are 2 to 10 minutes long. If you watch all the videos that I've uploaded, you'll be a great Python programmer, and I will be teaching new videos as well in the coming days. So keep an eye out for that. Thanks for all the nice comments and support that you have given me through our journey on learning Python. So that's it for today, and bye-bye.